Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are here with the Not Move podcast on the NBA show, The Dribble, with the one, the only, my sort of adversary this week because of our football pride. My boy Tinez coming in. How you doing today, Tinez?
I'm excited, man. A lot of good events going on right now. We got basketball talking about. We got college football going on. I mean, it's a good week, man. It's a good weekend, man. It's exciting. I love it. This weekend's great.
I see you're repping your Buckeyes, brother. So hopefully gonna see another national championship out of them this year.
I'm hoping to. Hoping to. Soon to be
Well, my
determined,
man.
though.
Well, my man, let's slam right into it. We had some interesting stuff happen within the past week here, and within the past couple weeks since I've been able to see your beautiful smiling face on the NBA show with me here. So we got the Emirates Cup quarterfinals starting up on Tuesday. December the 9th. We have two games for the Eastern side. We've got the Heat and Magic, and then we got the Knicks and Raptors. Out of the Heat and Magic, who do you think's going to be going to the finals for the Emirates, for the
I'm gonna
conference
go.
finals there?
I'm gonna go the Heat. I think the Heat right now have been doing pretty good this year. Starting off, I feel like right now they've been playing both offensively and defensively fundamentally sound basketball, especially now that they have Tyler Hero back. I know Andrew Wiggins, he's been given some good looks too. So I'm hoping they'll win. I think they've actually came off pretty well, very, very well going into this year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Raptors on this one. I like that it seems the Emirates Cup seems to spawn these teams to play really well so far, which is the goal, right? These players want to get some of that money, which we're all for. We want to see good competition. So I think I'm going to go with the Raptors, even though both the Heat and the Raptors are now losers of two in a row. I think the Raptors have a lot more to rebound and come back with right now than the Heat. But the Heat seem to be able to start to pull it together, man. After a little bit of a weird start, the Spo, doing what he does best, getting his team to play well once again under him. The other East game. Like we said, the Knicks Raptors. So you have the Heat. I have the Raptors against the Knicks. What do you think the Knicks are going to beat the Raptors in that game to go to the finals against the Heat?
I
I
actually,
mean, conference
I
finals.
actually do. I
Yeah.
actually do because the thing with the Knicks right now, I mean, despite with Brunson's injuries and the whole shebang going on, I feel like right now Cat's been playing fundamentally sound for a center, especially offensively. I feel like he's been playing very, very like taking his time. He's not really rushing a lot like how he was last year, especially from the playoffs perspective. So I kind of like how he's improving that as a big man. That being as an offensive more big man, he's actually taking his time, finding his options around him, rather than just trying to go and get this 2 point. You know what I mean, or just get the
Yeah.
foul. So I kind of like how he's being more fundamentally sound with that, especially on the rebounding too. I feel like this year going into, I feel like he's definitely improved a lot into that as well.
Yeah, I like what the Knicks are doing. I don't know. I just for something in me, I really like what the Raptors are doing right now. Young group, so that's why I think they're going to give the Knicks a run for the money. Now in the Western Conference, first game that we'll have is going to be the Suns versus the Thunder, which Suns have been playing a lot better, but I can't say anybody's going to beat the Thunder until we see it happen more than once. Twice. I mean, this right now, the
I,
Thunder only have one loss on the year.
I said it last week, did I not?
No, you did. You did. You said you didn't think that they were going to be losing anytime soon. And how can anybody disagree with you? Look at the team.
They're all averaging at least 10 points per game, almost every single one of them. What
That's
the?
wild.
What can you do with that?
That's wild. That's wild. And the bad part about it is this could be something that happens for years because they're so loaded with their staff and picks and moves that they can make. One move that's already being talked about, we'll talk about maybe a little bit later, is Giannis to the Thunder if they want it. Since the Giannis rumors are going around. I mean,
Actually, I've been hearing more he wants to go to the Knicks.
Well, I've also been hearing there's a lot of Heat trade packages talk with Giannis as well, from what I've been reading online, and that's something that would be interesting. It's all about what the get back for the Bucks is in the end. But so it's going to be the Thunder. But the other side of the coin is the Spurs and Lakers, which Lakers, of course, have been playing very well as of late. They did lose the last game, but they were on a winning streak before that. And the Spurs, Spurs have been doing all right. They also just recently lost. I think not having Wemby is really showing.
Yeah, yeah, we absolutely beat the crap out of them.
Oh, you're an LA guy, huh?
No, I'm a Cavs
Uh,
guy. We also
Oh,
faced
oh
them.
yeah, I was gonna say,
We
duh.
recently faced them a couple of days ago. We also beat them.
Well, I think well, look at your team right now too. They're starting to finally, it looks like, find their way again after having just a little bit of a losing streak there. I think they turned it around with that last win. Um, the Spurs seem like a team that can't handle not having their big man in every single game. Like, they're guard heavy. They're really easy. You can get Fox the ball, you can get Vassell the ball, but then without Wembanyama, it just seems like something doesn't click to get them over that hump. Whether that's his defense or just in general the spacing that he
It's
provides on
in
the floor.
it's in general because you gotta think about it. With a guy like him, he's very versatile. I mean, he's good both offensively and defensively sounded. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 7'6", 7'7", and is
Yeah,
scoring plus 20 with 3 blocks and plus 10 rebounds.
yeah, yeah. And hey,
That's versatility to me, man. I honestly, I could kind of see why that output is very much digressed offensively. So, I mean, when you take away things like that, both from an inbound perspective, but also from getting second chance points and things like that from an offensive perspective, it makes a big difference in how the paint works out in your favor.
yeah, and shout out to our boy Moss, who is out in basic. Moss, we miss you, man. Can't wait to have you back when you're done, so you can join the NBA show and give us your great insight on WNBA, and just all around be good to see you again. So shout out, Moss. So next, we're just gonna bust right into it, my man. There was a recent article that posted by many from the anonymous executive poll, and I don't know if you saw it. I know I sure saw it, but negative value from NBA executives on Ja Morant, Trey Young, and LaMelo Ball as possible trade targets. I think you and I can guess why on Ja Morant. I'm sure we can guess somewhat of an idea on LaMelo Ball. Uh, Trey Young, I see, and let's start with him. Trey Young, I do see why they would consider him a negative value. He does have a very ball centric style of play. He is very me first mentality. But if we recall, Trey does start playing a different style ball in the playoffs. We have seen this with the Hawks. We saw it when he took them to the conference finals. Um, I think there's positives in Trey. And of course, I'm not an NBA exec, neither are you. So what do we know? But,
Right.
for our trained eyes, I see positives in Trey, whereas I see a lot more negatives with LaMelo and Jaw. What's your thoughts on Trey?
I mean, honestly, right now, I mean, I feel like it's just more of it's more confidence, and the reason why I feel like they look at it that way because it's kind of the same standpoint I see as how they look at Russell Westbrook. You're talking about a guy who's scoring plus 25, but is probably giving out about a 7 to 8 assists per game. He's more of a heavy scorer. When you talk about guys that are more heavy scorers, they're going to look at you as much more selfish. Now, is that him necessarily being selfish? I completely disagree because I feel like, wow, yes, I mean, you score a lot of points, and man, by God, you have a great shot. And hey, if that's what you got and if that's your craft, then go do it. But don't diss on a guy when he's getting 7 to 8 assists on top of that. I mean, it shows that he's definitely enough to move the ball around. I mean, just look at the offensive output he puts out. So, I mean, yeah, people can say that or whatever, but I feel like they kind of look at that because of more of his ego. I feel like that's just more of looking at him and how he plays in his mentality. But you could say that about a lot of other players in the league too.
Yeah, and I agree with you as far as ball distribution. You've seen a concerted effort in the last 3 years before this prior season where he is trying to distribute the ball more. He's trying to utilize his teammates a lot more than he has in the past. He bumped up his assist numbers to 10 a game minimum. Last year was 11.6, and he was in the lead in all of the league for assists per game. That's an encouraging sign, especially for a guy like Trey Young, who he wants the ball in his hand because he wants to win the game. You can see that passion in his eyes. You saw it back at Oklahoma in college all those years ago. And that's why the Hawks decided to draft Trey Young. You see it now in glimpses. And I think with this team right now, you and I talked about it, with this roster that the Hawks have, it's going to be a lot easier for him to not be so controlling and not want to be so domineering with the ball. Um, 1, 2, I kind of get it with LaMelo, but he's a young guy. Why do you think all the NBA, the anonymous executive pool, have him as a negative value?
Honestly, I don't necessarily know. Maybe that could be because I don't like to say this, but it also has to do with the fact that the team has been at a plateau. Think about it like this: when you look at teams like Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, and also the other team you just mentioned as well, what's the third player?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, all those, if you realize, their team has been in a complete plateau within 2 to 3 years. They haven't improved or regressed. It's just stood there. So when you look at it like that, you can't really say if anything is positive. You can only look at the downside if something's at a plateau. Because then where can you see the positives if you're staying the same? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. With LaMelo though, and the Hornets, I actually think they are starting to crest. They are starting to go uphill with their roster. It seems like since Jordan has now become, well, minority owner, he's sold his majority stake. Look at who they drafted. That's a stark change. The I don't think with Jordan there, that the Charlotte Hornets are going out to draft Con Canople. There's gonna be a weird rookie like he was prone to do that they were gonna go out and get that didn't fit their scheme. You've seen Pat Connaughton on this team. What I like is that Concanoople seems to take away the ball from LaMelo, because I think LaMelo is a very, very selfish player. I think he also doesn't take his team seriously. I don't think he wants, it's almost like he doesn't want his team to succeed in some ways. If you think about it, the way he
I
plays,
mean,
very selfish
I
and look at my style.
I can kind of understand in a sense why, though, if you look at where he started compared to now. I mean, look at the offensive output he was producing when he started. You had guys like Mikal Bridges and Terry Rozier. Well, wow, yes, they may not have been the best players, but they were definitely role players enough to where, yeah, he was able to move the ball around, get 6, 7 assists, and go for a beautiful 25, 27 plus points per game. But now you don't have that. It's not fundamentally sounded the same. So when I look at things like that progressing going forward, I can kind of see why they look at it as a negative output, but I don't see that all being LaMelo. You know what I'm saying? Like I also feel like that also has to do with the organization in itself, because without those other players while being inside and outside scoring, because we've seen it. LaMelo Ball is an inside and outside scorer.
Yeah, when he plays, though, that's another aspect to his career that is absolutely, we don't talk about enough. He's never available. The most games LaMelo Ball has ever played is 75 in a sophomore season. Ever since then, he hasn't eclipsed 50 games.
Yep.
Last year he played 47, and cool, you averaged 25 points in 47 games. You had your 7 assists and your flashy 1.1 steals. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything because you're not available. So if the supposed team's best player is not available, and he's supposed to be the best player on this team, let's be real. It's him and then Con Canople. You know,
You see
That's
my
why.
point?
Well, the point is he's also to blame. He's also to blame because he doesn't. He's not the type of guy that's been working to get back on the court. He's letting all this outside fun. Also, you can see it. All this outside fun,
That is true.
like the next person we're going to discuss, who is probably the biggest problem compared to all these three. He has the most negative value compared to all these three. And John Morant, LaMelo
Yeah.
still is involved in this, all these outside things with streamers. He's still too focused on building his brand rather than playing basketball.
Yeah.
That's the way it looks from an outside perspective, right?
Right. I
Um,
for sure understand. And that's more of like a business perspective when you look at more business sides than rather the ways of how the game is supposed to be played. I feel like right now he just hasn't really been his character because he's lost a lot. It's kind of the same way, you know, you lose a guy like Desmond Bain, you don't have Jackson Jr. playing the same like how he used to. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but I mean, he hasn't really improved either. So I mean, when I look at things like that, it's like
yeah, John Morant is. I really Clay really hit the nail on the head recently in his comments with he and Jaws kerfuffle after the game that they had recently with him stating, Ja isn't serious. These aren't the exact words Clay said. Go look him up if you want to hear the exact quote. But Clay basically said the same thing that we all think as basketball fans. We want to see Ja play. We want to see him available. We want to see him be the best player he can be. And he's just not right now. There's too much going on. John Morant, out of these three, is the best player out of these three that we're talking about, and the most electrifying player. Um, you're right with the departure of Desmond Bain. That was almost like a signal that Memphis wants to start a mini rebuild, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Uh,
more like doubling down to me.
yeah, yeah. It's like they gave up in a way on that core of Triple J, Ja, and Desmond Bain. I mean, there's two problems with that core. Triple J and Ja, they are not healthy all the time. That's the unfortunate part about it. Now with Ja, there's also it's not just health. It's he's had a couple suspensions here and there. But I Ja also reminds me of a situation where maybe he needs another team to really just get himself in the headspace that he wants to dominate the NBA like he can. Uh, maybe he is deserving of trying to be on the trade market. What's your thoughts?
I agree. I feel like the way he does play, if he can play up to his potential and how he really fundamentally plays and sounds that we've seen in him in the past, I feel like he would do good on another team. Though I feel like that all really determines on his future in the end of the day. So I mean, you can't really say he will improve. You can only see it to believe it. It's kind of just one of those things where at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, I mean, we've seen this from a lot of other NBA players where it's questionable. You know, like you can't say yeah, you can't say no, but it's damn if you do and it's damn if you don't. So that's also how I also see this situation because it's like right now you have a guy with so much potential athletically, but then when you give him these pieces around him and then when you let him go, what does he then have left? It's like a king with no knights, you know what I mean?
Right, right. No, I get you completely. Um, So before we start breaking into a topic that you brought up off camera here that we're going to go into, hey, let's thank all of our sponsors. We got some cool sponsors out there. We got W Energy Drinks. Go to their website, hit Not Moved. You're going to get some percentages off. We got some NFL Shop, MLB Shop. We are on Walmart. If you go to our links in our profile, you're going to get some percentages off. And we got some good deals, don't we, Tinez?
Yes, we do. We also have some bets from Bet US as well. You can go on there because right now we got some things going on a lot during the weekend, man. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and hey, also make sure to hit our other guys up at mybookie.ag. You're going to use that not moved code, and we're going to get you some percentages towards your bets or help with some of your first bets if you're registering there for the first time. But enough about business. Let's get back to the topic at hand, the NBA. Tinez, you want to talk about LeBron finally ending his streak of double-digit points in the NBA with the last game only being able to get 8 points, but 11 assists, six total rebounds. Let's talk about it, man. LeBron, 8 points. What's the significance to you seeing the main man finally end
Now,
the streak?
this to me is very interesting because we talked about this off camera. Where I mean, there's two ways you can really look at this. There's only two. One way is the way I see it, especially with how Luka and Austin Reeves is playing. Maybe he's just looking at it where, hey, this is their team now, but I'm still going to stick around to bring pieces together. But then I also see it from another standpoint that we also mentioned off camera, which has to also do with his son and how he also doesn't want to talk to JJ Reddick and have that chemistry with alongside his team, and also has these selfish gathers. So at the same time, when you look at those two pieces, whether it's mental or physical, maybe he's doing it selfishly because of him and being a dad. Maybe he just wants to play with his son and just keep staying in the NBA. Or maybe he's just looking at it where, hey, I'm just hanging the things up. Either way, the way I'm looking at it, he didn't play bad,
No,
but it didn't look the same.
no. I don't know if it's so hard to discuss the familial aspect, right? Because this is really a once in a lifetime thing where a great superstar of our time, one of the greatest athletes we'll ever see play a professional sport in our lives, is on the same team with his son. Um, I couldn't imagine being able to have the privilege of playing on the same team with my son, and then all of a sudden I see him go down to the lower leagues. I mean, I know I would feel some type of way about it, but the sportsmanship in me and the athlete in me, like Father LeBron, maybe he knows that that's best for the team, but I think it has more to do with what's going on here. JJ Redick seems a little annoyed with LeBron, especially at the Suns game when LeBron's on the sidelines having himself a laugh when he's calling a timeout, trying to get the team together, trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. And of course, they lost that game, but LeBron got his 10 points, but they still lost that game. But, you know, are we starting to see some cracks in this little foundation that was built for JJ to come in and LeBron? Because remember, they were chummy chummy on the podcast, and we saw the seeds sprinkled last year of a little bit of JJ's discontent with the LeBron antics.
With that, I kind of feel like that's kind of that's a hard one because see the way you could kind of look at that where it's just he's getting older though, man. Like he's 40 years old. Like the way I'm seeing it, you got a guy where he's putting up 30, 35, 40, 47. Some games 50. The other guy's putting up 20, 25, maybe in some games 30. So it's like, yeah, I am gonna sit around and just, maybe chill and do something like that. I mean, let's be honest. MJ did the same exact damn thing when he was on the Wizards. We're not gonna. The guy. There were some games where yeah, he was averaging 20,
Oh yeah,
but we're not gonna sit and act like he was taking anything serious and trying to make something out of like, yeah, let me get a ring in the Washington Wizards.
yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's looking at it the way JJ is. I feel like that's where it boils down to. It's more of priority and what you see in your player. Because right now, the way I see LeBron is you're in your last couple of years. You've already made a bunch of accolades. You've already made a bunch of legacies. You've already see a lot of young stars rising up, maybe in some that may say better than you right now. So at that point, what can you say that you haven't done to move things forward? That's kind of my thing with looking at it. Like I can see everybody with the whole negative antics about everything, but honestly, I just feel like it's kind of just a disconnect in the end because right now LeBron is playing at a time where he's ending his career. JJ Reddick, this is his first couple of years getting into coaching. He's trying to look at some success. He's trying to look at value. So there's a very big difference there.
Yeah, but I also think I don't I don't think LeBron has really given JJ the respect that JJ deserves as a head coach. That's one of the things that I have not liked about this situation uh, so far from the end of last year and to beginning of right now, to beginning of the season in the middle, going into the middle of it. It seems like JJ he does what he can. He fumes about, but LeBron just doesn't quite give him the respect he deserves as a head coach of the Lakers. Maybe that's because he sees him as a peer still. Maybe it's because he's still chummy with him from them doing the podcast. But that's who knows. We can only speculate. I mean, for me, I think LeBron is probably realizing that, hey, I've got these two white boys kicking ass, taking 30 a game. You know what? Maybe I'm not going to run so hard up the court tonight. I'm going to conserve my energy for the playoffs. Maybe I'm going to just let these two phenoms handle the game, and I'll chip in my 11 assists and 10 points if need be. I'm hoping that's what it is because playoff LeBron is a lot more fun than regular season LeBron. And you know, if this is going to be the last year or next year, I would still rather see him in the playoffs and going out on a shield
I think
like the
everybody would.
warrior that he
Honestly, I
is.
think everybody would. I
Yeah,
think
for
everybody would.
sure. So now that we talked about LeBron, man, I want to talk about something that's kind of sad. CP3 got let go from the Clippers recently, right after about 2 weeks after about a week or two after it was announced that this would be his final season. And I can't believe that they would make the announcement of this being his final season, and all of a sudden he's let go from the team. So something must have happened there. I mean, when Ty Lue, coach of the Clippers currently, was asked about it, all he said is, "It is what it is." Do I want to see CP go out like this? No. I have a lot of respect for him. He's been a friend of mine over the years. But also, with that same quote, there was reported issues in the locker room between CP3 and Ty Lue. So who knows what's to say about that? Tinez, our man CP3, just getting the early curtain call from the Clippers. What do you got to say, man?
It's unfortunate because I mean, growing up seeing the guy play, being one of the best fundamental sound point guards ever, both defensively and offensively. I mean, hands down, he's probably one of the smartest in my generation, at least. Looking at him in the perspective, but I also can kind of see where how everybody else is looking at it from a front office standpoint because I mean, this ain't 10, 15 years ago, bro. Like there's a lot more different things moving forward than just, hey, let me try to build pieces around you when your time has already been passed. You had your Lob City franchise era with DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, then you left. You lost to the Warriors. That
Yeah, I
happened.
mean, if what an unlucky guy to lose twice to the Warriors, right? Like
Yeah.
even with the Clippers and then with Houston as well with that fun run that he had with James Harden there. Yeah, you nailed it. This is just not CP3's NBA anymore. It's this is not his league anymore. It's not, he was only averaging 14 minutes a game this year. That's in 16 games played. And with that were some really low numbers, given, of course, with 14 minutes a game. You're not going to see that much action, but 14 minutes a game of CP3 at 26 years old is a big difference from 14 minutes a game of 40-year-old CP3. And it's unfortunate to see him go out like this, especially with all the turmoil apparently between him and the Clippers organization. I really am surprised about that, given how rich of a history CP3 has with the Clippers. That's one thing I did not expect to hear was they wouldn't find some way to release him from the team, but then keep him either as some type of coaching role, recruiting role, training role, front office role, because as we all know, CP3's basketball IQ is through the roof. Um, what do you think is next for CP3 here? I don't know if another team is going to sign him, Tinez.
I don't think so either. Honestly, I think it's best for him to just honestly hang it up. I mean, you've been playing for 15 plus years. The way I'm also looking at it is just you didn't play a lot of time. You're not sitting here like LeBron playing 25 plus minutes. You only playing 14 minutes. It's not the same scenario. The Clippers are looking at to rebuild. They're not looking to deal with older players that have already played in past. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at it in a way where it's like I feel like LA is just trying to move forward from everything and start something new. I feel like that's what the Clippers are really doing.
Yeah, and they're in a bad spot for that too. They've got a lot of contracts that they can't unload. You're looking at contracts with James Harden. You're looking at a contract, obviously, with Kawhi, Bradley Beal. Luckily, he got hurt and is out for the season. Luckily for the team, I mean, so that way they're not going to have to swallow too much money. But you're right. You've got all these veterans on this team. Last year, if you really look at it, was like a last gasp for the Clippers in the playoffs. That was when, if anything was going to happen, that run at the end of the season with James Harden playing lights out, with Kawhi Leonard playing lights out, with the team really gelling. Zubats last year was their going to be their best effort to do anything, and they lost in the playoffs. And I mean, now look at this team. They signed Brooke Lopez. Brooke Lopez was even last year at the end of the season just a shell of himself. Um, those those good days must have been left in Milwaukee because he hasn't played similar since. And when I hear about Milwaukee, I don't hear too much about good days. So something there is not mixing in the Kool-Aid. And
I
then you've got the CP3 mess. I don't know how that's going to affect the locker room because all those guys are pretty tight with him, from what I understand.
No, they are.
Uh,
And honestly, this is just one of those things where I feel like everybody's just gonna have to just say it is what it is. And
yeah,
that's the worst part about all of it. So don't be surprised if he ain't the only one that might get let go.
yeah, I'm interested to see what the Clippers can do as far as making moves. They've got a lot of contracts that either nobody wants or not movable. So with the Clippers, especially at 6 and 17, ugh, yeesh. Absolute dog dirt in the Western Conference, sitting there at the bottom with the Kings and Pelicans. I can't see them doing anything much. But Tina's my man. Is there anything else that you want to speak on before we get to the standings and finish out the show with what the standings are looking like for this week?
The only thing I can say is congrats to Kevin Durant for getting plus 30K. I feel like that was a nice little accolade that he allowed himself to get there. Good for him. But other than that, I ain't got nothing more to say. Just right now, I feel like the Rockets as a whole, they've been playing fundamentally sound. I mean, how do you feel about the Rockets, really? Just like as a whole standpoint.
I really like what they're doing right now. I like that they're involving the youth of their team a lot more than relying so heavy on Durant, with Durant being at the age he is. And I'm not congrats, like you said, to KD for reaching that milestone. He's one of a few. He is in an elite scoring club all time for the NBA, and he is definitely one of the best superstars I've ever seen in my life. Uh, I, I can't describe watching Slim Reaper play, man, because that guy's shot is just so butter. It's so smooth. His form is perfect. Who would ever thought when this lanky Texan came out in the draft for the Seattle Supersonics that he was going to be getting 30,000 points and creating moments we would never forget. We knew he was going to be great, but not this great. Rockets are real, man. Rockets are real. They're 15-5. They're on a 2-game winning streak. That roster is amazing. I love Reed Shepard. I'm glad that they're getting him involved. I love Amin Thompson. I'm glad that they're letting these guys out. Şengün.
So, yeah, I was
Şengün
about
is
to say Şengün is ooh, whoo. That
this
guy,
team is nice.
he might be a next upcoming gray big man later on. I give it like 3. If he keeps playing like he's playing, I ain't about to lie. Might see something out of that kid.
For being in his fourth year, Şengün you've just seen nothing but his numbers go up when he's played. Last year, um, you saw the real big leap, even though his points per game wasn't as good as the year before. You saw the basketball IQ go up. His playmaking ability is just skyrocketing right now. The Rockets are in a very good situation. They got KD for a couple years. They got this young roster. This is this is awesome. I like when the Rockets are good in the NBA, man. I like seeing those Texan teams good in the NBA. It makes for good Western Conference play.
I agree. I agree 100%, especially when you're talking about fundamentally sound basketball. It's always got to start with moving the ball around and making things happen. So,
For sure. So then we know that the Thunder are in the lead of the West. We don't need to talk about how great they are. It's kind of sad that because they're so good, it's like, oh, well, we don't need to talk about it. Everybody knows about it. But that's what it is.
that's
I'm
what it
glad to
is.
see what's that?
I just said that is what it is. It is what
Right.
it is.
Our boys, we just talked about Rockets, second place in the conference right now. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Right behind them, we got the Lakers at 16-6. We just talked about earlier with the Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic led team really starting to work with JJ's system. Um, right now, they seem to be at a comfortable place. Them and the Nuggets are really trading spaces because the Nuggets are the fourth ranked team at 16-6. Um, I'm worried about the Nuggets. I'm worried about the Nuggets. I don't like what I'm seeing from Jamal Murray. Um, I like when he is at his elite play, but doesn't look like the Jamal Murray that we're used to so far. Aaron Gordon, I hope his health stays up this year because that guy is, I really think, as much as Jokic is integral to that system, I think he's the number two guy that is like really integral to that ball movement and that movement
Oh, it's
in their
probably
team.
number one, honestly. I mean, without Jokic, you're not going to get a guy that's going to be able to just go from being an inside scorer to just, hey, let me just kick it right back out.
Yeah. Um, Aaron Gordon, I really want to see him stay healthy so that way we can we can see a healthy Nuggets team because it is fun watching this Nuggets team play. Jokic in the MVP conversation again, man. And I don't see why he gets all these haters for his style of play. I don't understand it. It to me it's like watching an updated version of Larry Bird in a way sometimes, with the ball movement, with the usage of his teammates.
I can kind of explain why, because I think I've heard this take a lot where a lot of people don't see, they love his offensive output, but they very, very much feel like he's an outlier when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. If you kind
Which
of,
I
I
can
get
agree.
it. Yeah, and I get it, I understand. But then I also look at it where the guy is fundamentally putting up scores that not even Hakeem Olajuwon offensively could do in the post.
Yeah, yeah, and here's the thing too is like that myth of his defense. It's partly myth, right? Because we have seen he's blown some in post play. We've seen him get taken down. This year, though, the man is leading the league in defensive rebounds, as well as total rebounds, as well as assists. Um, 9.3 defensive rebounds alone a game. So he's doing his job to help clean up the boards.
Right.
And that's why the Nuggets are where they are right now, especially because of his backup, Valanciunas, giving him that relief to sit out of a fourth quarter. You can use Valanciunas to come in, scoop up some of that low play, some of that block play, get some of those rebounds. Very smart for the Nuggets to go out and get him this year. Um, but I think what ultimately it's going to be is it's going to be keying on Jokic. It's going to be finding Jokic, doubling Jokic, and he's going to make them pay. It's just a matter of if the rest of the team can, you know, help out after he's getting them those passes this year.
I agree.
Um, Fifth place team in the West, San Antonio Spurs. Uh, they are 15-7. Of course, we know about their Wembanyama-less woes. Uh, Old Big Vic out right now due to injury. Wish him a speedy recovery because that dude is fun to watch play basketball. What do you think about the Spurs without old Vicky Wembanyama?
I think it's honestly made a very big change, especially with the lack of versatility being played. I mean, you're talking about a guy that can get about 20 points and 10 plus rebounds. Like the guy on top of that does like 3, 4 blocks per game.
Yeah.
He is versatile both on and off without the ball. Like he doesn't even need the ball. He doesn't.
No. He was averaging 3.6 blocks a game this season.
It's
That's
I've never seen a big man. The last time I've seen a big man do something like that was Shaq and Hakeem.
yeah, he truly is a unicorn. He truly is a unicorn style player. I mean, it's wonderful to see that he has come in the league right away and become a superstar like everybody wished and hoped for. I like watching him play. And you're right. It's a shame we can't see De'Aaron Fox and Wembanyama play games together. It's always like one or the other is out. When Wembanyama's playing, De'Aaron Fox was hurt.
And we've had
Same
this
now.
conversation too last time where this is kind of one of the things that bothers me with De'Aaron Fox, and it's that
Yeah.
without a guy like Wembanyama, you're not going to be able to have that chemistry the same around your team. I mean, we even saw it with, like, for example, one of the beginning season games I mentioned, the San Antonio Spurs and Golden State Warriors game, like about a month ago. Final score of the game, you see your center wide open, but instead you decide to take the inside score because you're supposed to be you're known as typically that guy at the
Yeah.
point guard position. But then we also have to keep in mind you're with a 7'6" millennial. I okay. All right. That's like Kobe. That's like Kobe Bryant trying to take a half court shot, but then he sees a fucking downhill court of Shaq. Okay, but okay. I don't get. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
No, it'll be good to see when we get Wemby back, so we can watch him do his weird alien powers and just go from blocking a shot to hitting a three from what looks like three quarters. We don't know yet. Uh, but that's going to round up our top five for the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, not much has changed. The middle pack have moved around. Pistons still at the top, 18-5. Another young, hungry team, really looking good. They got their core together. They're coming together. I like Cade. I like what Cade's doing a lot. Um, I can't wait to see if the Pistons can keep this up all year. What do you think about Detroit this year, Tinez?
I agree. I mean, we talked about this last week where Cade right now is playing at a level where he's trying to be the leader, you know? He's trying to be the guy that is chemistry sound with the scheme of things. I mean, he's been there around the longest since he's been drafted. I mean, now you got a lot of younger guys trying to fundamentally be sound around him, even though there is some older players here and there. But most of the relative roster that we've seen since he's been drafted has changed.
Yep.
So, I mean, right now, I think he's just trying to take advantage of it and be much more of a leader this year. And I love it. You know, I love what he's doing. It just shows that he has been much more athletic potential as everybody else thought he was going to be. So, honestly, bless him up, man, because he's doing great right now.
Yeah, one guy who I was glad to see come back because he had faced a little bit of injury earlier was Tobias Harris. I think he's a good veteran locker room presence for that team. I like Tobias Harris for this squad. And then also, I really like seeing Osar Thompson. If it seems like if it's a Thompson twin and you got one, your team's doing well. Osar and Amen, just they're playing lights out. I'm interested to see if the Pistons can keep this up. I like seeing that this team is finally doing well after being just so bottom basement for so long. So really happy for you, Detroit. Keep up the good work. Number two, the Knicks. We talked about the Knicks earlier. Knicks are still same team. In the end, that's my pick for the finalists for the Eastern Conference. I don't know why. I feel like by the end of the year, the Knicks are going to be standing above the rest in the Eastern Conference and head on to the finals. But I know it's way too early, but that's my pick, the Knicks. Um, Anything different from the Knicks you see, or is it just basically what we've been saying, still the same old team?
I agree. I feel like it's pretty much been the same old team. I mean, but despite with the airs and flows with Jalen Brunson and everything, I feel like right now, fundamentally sound, it's been pretty much similar old Knicks. Honestly, they've just been dominating both offensive and defensively. Though I have seen Cat very much improve a lot compared to last year. I will definitely agree say that.
Yeah, I think Cat's played much better this year for the Knicks than he did last year. I agree with you. I think he's shooting much better too. It seems like he's making smarter shots. He's taking smarter shots this year, and I like that a lot. Um, Raptors, they're third, 15-9. We talked about them earlier. Young, hungry team. I like what the Raptors are doing. Um, I don't know what moves they can make to improve their team come trade deadline. We'll get closer to that and we'll talk more about that. Obviously, we'll have a trade deadline show. But this team, the one thing that I do not like about them is they don't have the one. They don't have the one that's going to stand out and take their team ahead. Yeah, Scotty Barnes is there. And got some Norm Powell, but who's the big cheese that's going to take over in the series?
Right. Yeah, especially when you have a lot of guys like that. But I mean, when you look at it like that, at the same time, it's just also stay good with what you got. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like if you're playing fundamentally sound basketball and if you're with a group of guys, I mean, you could have three guys that could be above average, but I mean, as long as they're playing fundamentally sound and if they're doing their job, I mean, hey, can you even get mad at it?
No, you really can't. You really can't. They are playing like a unit. You're right. They're seeing the game as one and they're winning as one. So yeah, I we'll see moving forward ahead what they feel like they could do. Um, Magic had finally started climbing up the ranks. I'm glad to see the Magic doing well. I like the Magic a lot. I like the fact that they are taking a shot to be one of the better teams, especially with that Desmond Bain trade that we talked about. Magic are sitting at 14-9, and I cannot stand this team in the number five spot, and I cannot believe they're climbing up with their wins. But the Boston Celtics are back, 14-9. They're on a four-game winning streak, and Jalen Brunson is looking like the guy right now. Ah, I can't stand the Celtics, Tinez. I'm just
You
going to
mean
come out and
Jalen
say it.
Brown?
Jalen Brown, sorry. Yeah, Jalen Brown. He is looking like the guy. I can't stand the Celtics. I'm happy to see Jalen Brown's success, but man, you figure maybe a year without the Celtics in the playoffs, and they can't even do that for us, can they?
Yeah, no, they really can't. But at the same time, it's Hogan, though. You gotta give credit when credit is due. Am I right?
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. Uh, they're using everything. I mean, Sam
Derek White.
Sam Hauser. What's his name? The guy who won the six man Pritchard last year. They've got a team of ballers, man.
Yeah.
Anthony Simons lighting off when he needs to. They're doing well. They draft well. They're smart. I just wanted one season. I was just
I
hoping one
agree.
season because your boys are suffering from that too. Cavs are sitting in eighth place. They've been on a bit of an up and down pace, but the last win they look good. They're at 14-10 right now.
Yeah, and that was probably because, like, during the midst of things, I mean, when you don't have a Darius Garland, things do seem to play different. I mean, even right now with Jared Allen, I'm gonna be honest with you, he hasn't even then been playing the best. I honestly think Evan Mobley at some point he might even be changed to being a center, but I don't like that because at the same time, and token, when you have a guy like Mobley who is known to be a defensive beast, but at the same time, it's more versatile because he's more of a chase down guy. You know, he's not really one of those guys where he's gonna stand underneath the paint and try to grab rebounds, things like that. Even though he does it a lot, but that's only because one, Jared Allen isn't normally available because he's injury prone, and two, you're then now forced to play that position, so you have to be fundamentally sound, not even just outside, but even also inside. So yeah, I feel like it's good for him while he's young. I feel like it's also going to be bad later on because I mean, we need a guy bigger than him. I'm sorry, man, but right now, when it comes to the defensive output for the Cavs, it hasn't really been too well. Offensively, I think we've improved stellarly, but at the same time, we've allowed a lot of points.
Yeah, your best defender by far is Evan Mobley. And as good as he is at defending the perimeter as well as the block, I think some of your other guys, like you said, Darius Garland, he's an underrated defender as well on the perimeter with some of those guards. So yeah, I think that the Cavs are going to kick it back into gear here. They're gonna get healthy. They're gonna keep adjusting, keep making those because the Cavs are a good team. I think this year is going to be a good year because they spend all that time trying to be the best team in the Eastern Conference, and you know what? Look what that got them. Second round exit. This year, I think they're focusing. They're going to be smarter about it, and I think they're going to go and try to do the proper thing, and get in the playoffs and make sure that you're working it better in the playoffs in the regular season. Uh, Tinez, is there anything for next week that we should look forward to? Any games that you're looking forward to? Anything for the NBA coming up before we sign off here for today?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. One game I'm really looking forward to is just tonight's game right now. I mean, we got Golden State and Cleveland again. I mean, tomorrow you got New York and Orlando. I mean, there's a few games going on this week, man. Like Chicago and Charlotte, Boston and Milwaukee on Thursday, December 11th. Like this week is gonna look. I'm telling you, man. From this weekend going into next week, it's gonna look very nice.
Yeah, there is a game tonight I'm going to watch coming up at 8:30, the Rockets and Mavericks. Mavericks with Anthony Davis back in the lineup have looked a lot better. I like what I'm seeing from both he and Cooper Flag together. And then you're absolutely right. Remember, folks, Emirates Cup. We have games for the Emirates Conference Finals on Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, make sure, guys, thanks for joining us. And hey, if you guys are watching, feel free to comment from whatever device you're watching from, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. It'll come up here. We are more than happy to interact with people same time when we're doing this. I know Tinez and I will always never shy away from trying to give our opinion. Isn't that right, my man?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Always.
but we appreciate y'all. Come back next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out everything. Barcode up in the corner. That's going to get you to our shop. We've got Bookie, mybookie.ag. We've got Bet US, you know, Dubby, get your energy drinks. Walmart, NFL shop, MLB shop. We are not moved. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you guys next week.
God bless.
This non casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.